Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today with week 88 of the H.A.M Radio Podcast.
And it is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, back after a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks?
I think it has.
I thought it was only been one.
No, last weekend, it was just you and Carrick.
Yeah.
So
I thought you were there the
week
before.
And then the one before that, actually, it's probably 3 weeks. Fuck.
Wow. I didn't even realize. I swear.
Thanks
I was going to say, I
gone.
really thought it's only been 1 week. Wow. Okay, well, welcome back, I guess.
Thank you, Matty. It's only been 3 weeks,
Yeah.
but it's good to be back.
All right. Well, we got a lot of cool Bethesda stuff to talk about this week. Last week, Carrick and I handled it. We talked about just gaming in general in 2016. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that quickly. Is there any games that really surprised you this year?
Any games that really surprised me? Oh, man. I wish I had time to think about this.
And an easier thought, probably just because of the human mind, would be, is there any games that just straight up disappointed you this year?
Okay, I'm going to say it. BioShock the Collection, because there were so many issues.
Really? Okay.
Like, initially I was kind of like, no, it's fine. Why are people giving this game negative reviews on Steam, blah, blah, blah. But then as I played it, I was like, yeah, it does have issues off the bat. And even Dishonored 2. I mean, when I first started to play Dishonored 2, that game was just not even close to 60 FPS, even when I moved down to high.
Yeah, that was weird, man.
That was disappointing to me personally.
I really think I have this insane luck with Bethesda games, and I'm genuinely saying that because with Fallout 4, people are like, dude, Matty, why do you talk about games frame rate and how bad they are, but with Fallout 4 you didn't? I'm like, I didn't have an issue with any Bethesda Game Studios game when it came to frame rate, crashes, and Dishonored 2 as well. People were like, what about the PC issues? I mentioned them, but I was like, dude, I didn't have an issue at all running the game. It's ridiculous. I still made a video about it, but
it was interesting. Like, I didn't have any issues with Doom. Yeah, no, I didn't have any issues with Doom. I didn't have any issues with Fallout 4, but Dishonored 2, like as soon as I exited the first indoor area to go outside, my frame rate tanked, man. Like, so I'm hoping that those additional patches that they released fix that.
Apparently
because I just didn't pick up the game.
Yeah,
thank God.
They have. As for a game that surprised you this year, do you have one?
A game that surprised me. So I want to go into my Steam right now.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, people know that I don't play many games.
Yeah, I didn't mean to hit you with this. I just thought that'd be a good idea to catch your thoughts. Assassin's Creed 1 really surprised me on how poorly that game's aged.
God, you know what? That game, like, as much as I love it, as much as Assassin's Creed 1 has that nostalgia, fuck, it's repetitive. It's the same Rafiq's bureau that you're going into. Like, there's no difference amongst the cities. It's the same conversation, same fetch quests.
God.
And the only thing that shines, honestly, in that game is the different the different people that you kill. There's always a different story that goes along with them. And like the build up towards that, you see them like attacking townspeople, and like that's the most interesting bit to me about Assassin's Creed 1 is the story.
Oh yeah, because the standout
with the second one they nailed the gameplay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
for me the standout moment in 1 was like when that one dude just got the crap stabbed out of him in like a fountain.
Yeah, that was the very, very first one.
Yeah, that was the moment that really stuck with me, and that's what I think of when I think of AC1. But yeah, that game was really repetitive.
Yeah, definitely. But to be honest, this really, honestly, this year, and again, I haven't played many games, but there hasn't been a real standout game to me. It's been a pretty average year for games.
I thought when you brought it up, you'd say it, Doom. I thought you'd say that one surprised you.
You know what? But okay, I'll be even honest with Doom as well. And maybe this is because of me personally moving away from games that are just very, very gameplay focused and somewhat repetitive. But I'm not saying Doom was that repetitive, but when I got towards the end of that game, it was. Like, when I got towards the end of it, I was like, you know what? I think I'm done with Doom, and I only pushed forward just to complete it.
Yeah.
There was a point, like, towards the end. But it was a great campaign, but
yeah,
I guess it's just
I said the same thing. Yeah, it was... The fun of killing wore off just like 2 hours before the game ended, so it was a little bit of a final stretch.
Exactly. I think it was like around that point, like 1 to 2 hours before the end. I remember saying to myself, "I'm done." And in any other case, if I wasn't streaming this, I would not continue. So
interesting. All right, just want to get your thoughts on that. Let's roll into this week's Bethesda news roundup. So let's start with the first piece of news that we have, which is that Dishonored 2 just got a new Game Plus update, which allows you to carry all your powers into the new playthrough, the new difficulty, or just character upgrades in general, really. Bone charms, all that stuff. So I like that a lot. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that wasn't in the vanilla game, but it's good to see that they're supporting it after launch. And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a free update. It's not one you have to pay for or anything. A lot of games have been adding New Game Plus patches. Final Fantasy 15 is actually getting one very soon. I think it actually just came out. But yeah, I don't know why there hasn't been this emphasis on New Game Plus in video games as much anymore. I think that's one of the most fun parts. I mean, an ideal example is Ratchet and Clank. I think
I was gonna say
that is
you took the example.
Gold standard for why New Game Plus is so special is because it's just, you know, going back to that first level with end game weapons and wiping the floor with them and saying, I can't believe I struggle with this. It's just such a good feeling. I mean, there have been a couple games this year I can think of that had good New Game Plus, like Dark Souls. I'd imagine, you know, a lot of people have New Game Plus that, but still, I wish there was a bigger emphasis on that, you know, because the last game I went to New Game Plus on that comes to my mind at this moment is Arkham City. Like, that's the first game I beat and then hit New Game Plus and started up right away. I haven't done that in a long while. I mean, Final Fantasy 15 I did beat and keep going, and I still am going, but, you know, I can't think of many games that have had a New Game Plus. DMC Devil May Cry, but yeah, like, what I'm saying is that I wish there was more of an emphasis on it in that long-winded ramble.
And to be honest, though, I mean, I don't know if you remember several weeks back, they were talking about how there were new games like Titanfall and Dishonored 2, and Call of Duty as well. They're not selling as well as their previous games. Mm-hmm. And there was a really, really good article on gamesindustry.biz, which is a fantastic games news website, by the way. And it was talking about how a lot of that is in part to do with because people are purchasing digital more than physical, but also in part because there are so many games that are coming out and people are buying less individual games and spending more time in one game. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, in part because people don't have much money. They want to buy a game and stick to it and be committed. And New Game Plus really helps with that. And I think maybe publishers and devs are starting to pick up on that fact. The fact that Dishonored 2 didn't sell as well as Dishonored 1, even though with more marketing, even though it's still a well-received game amongst critics. But
sometimes that
because of this...
That's not enough, right?
No. Sometimes that definitely isn't enough, and I think because of this, I guess, phenomena that people are spending more time in singular titles, devs are picking up and saying, well, let's give them more of what they want in that title. Let's give them a New Game Plus because, let's be honest, it's probably a really easy way to get someone to play the game again, and then it keeps them around for a DLC or two.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. I predicted when I was talking to Carrick, I said that honestly, I feel like that next fall, usually like fall is filled with games, that I think next fall is going to be the complete opposite. I think there's not going to be as many games because I think a lot of publishers learned this year that you can't just stack on and say, okay, competition, pick our game or get out, because a lot of games that were invested in completely flopped. Titanfall 2, horrible flop. And that game is really
good.
Yeah, really good apparently. I haven't played it, but I've heard great things. So it's a shame to see that. And like you said, Call of Duty, a good example of that is that Black Ops 3 is getting new DLC in 2017. That's how bad Infinite Warfare is probably doing, because they're bringing out DLC for the Call of Duty before that because more people have that. It's just, I think we're going to see a different fall next year where we're going to see, I think, big console exclusives. That's where I think it's going to go. Is not this huge third-party battle, but instead just console exclusives, and a lot more games will delay out of fall.
Yeah, and I think honestly this is a fundamental change in how games are operating. I was reading another article the other day about how, did you know that 60% of the games that are on Steam were released in 2016? It's like something ridiculous like that. It's like 40 to 60% or something, and there are just too many games out there nowadays. And people are overwhelmed. I'm fucking overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
Like, you look at how many games are being released and you think, I can't play all of these. And also for people that aren't as well off and that don't have as much money, when they spend $60 on the game, they want to get enough out of it. Mm-hmm. So I see why publishers and devs aren't releasing as many games, because there aren't as many games being released. And why newer games aren't selling as well. They need to extract more money out of singular titles. Yeah. Because that's the way preferences are changing amongst gamers.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be a little bit of a reform in 2017. I think, we're going to see companies follow through, like, okay, this is when our game's releasing, we're not going to change it. But I think there's going to be a focus on extracting all the life possible out of a single title before really moving on. That's a mistake that I think Fallout 4 made. I think it could still be extracting some life out of its title, but Bethesda had other
You know what
ideas.
the worst thing about Fallout 4 in terms of, like, this is me not having played the game again afterwards, but I can easily see why people are saying this about it. With Fallout 4, you know how you can just play the game and get every single what's it called? It's not called perks anymore, but you can max everything out essentially if you played long enough.
Yeah, get all the perk ranks and stuff.
I thought that was great because that allowed you to experiment with everything in one playthrough. But what it actually does as well is limit multiple playthroughs because it's you are doing the exact same character in your second or third. Whereas with New Vegas, fuck, you had to specialize, man. You had to specialize so much.
Absolutely.
In that game.
No, I agree. I think that coupled, not to get off track here with Fallout 4, but yeah, I think that coupled with story decisions and side quest decisions that there wasn't really a decision with consequence led to the fact that Bethesda got too preoccupied with the idea, and I've said this before, that they wanted you to see everything in one playthrough, which I understand why. They want you to have that one character that at the end of all the DLC, you got around like 300, 400 hours in. And I totally get that standpoint because Noah's not here, but he's like that, not where he doesn't put in multiple characters.
Like
yeah, and everyone has that one main that you go to for all the DLC, and when mods are out, you got that one character, don't get me wrong. But part of the fun is especially New Vegas, but Fallout 3 had this too, although it was a little more limiting, where it was more of a just good or bad choice, is that it was fun to go back that second time and see what happened when you blew up Megaton, stuff along those lines. So I think I think that's something that, or part of the reason why I think Bethesda just cut off Fallout 4 a lot sooner than people expected. I think that it just, they want to move on and work on something new, and hopefully that'll be...
Maybe next time they should bring back the level cap. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
I
agree.
Because without a level cap, you essentially saying, well, you can get everything, right? But anyway.
Yeah, I think I think a good example is like Final Fantasy 15, where they have you're able to access everything in the level up thing, but it's so ridiculously hard, and honestly, the game would get tedious if you went through all of it. Where it's like you'd want to just start a new game up and rebuild your characters. And so I think that is what Bethesda should have done, is just to really kind of limit it. My characters.
But it's a learning experience. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yep. Next piece of news is about Doom. And its final and third DLC pack is out. It's called Bloodfall, and it includes 3 new maps: Empyrean, which is fight in an ageless coliseum held aloft, by opposing energies as the gilded battlements slowly crumble. That sounds pretty epic, actually. Boneyard, Fallout, battle in the outer realm of hell, where the landscape is made entirely of demon flesh, teeth, and bones. And Outbreak, engage in intense combat throughout a UAC facility transformed after underworldly science breaks free from containment. Comes with a grenade launcher as a new weapon and a new playable demon called Spectre Pinky. Yep, that's not a joke.
Ooh.
As fast and heavily armored Pinky Demi with Spectre abilities, stalk your enemies with invisibility, or bull rush to insta-gib all in your path. Yes, I'm not kidding. Comes with new equipment, new cultist armor sets, you hack modules, all that stuff. So just more multiplayer support. And that, speaking of Doom, Danny O'Dwyer recently did a documentary on Doom. I don't know if you checked it out.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Did you see how Doom originally looked?
Yeah, it's really, really good stuff there. I love it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. We don't really see that kind of journalistic piece that much anymore.
Yeah.
So that was really refreshing. I
I agree. Todd Howard is going to be inducted into the AIAS Hall of Fame.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, look, I know that Fallout 4 may not have been your cup of tea, but the man has made or helped direct and produce Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout 3, Skyrim, and Fallout 4. Okay? And even if one of those games is arguably mediocre, arguably not that good, you still got...
For some
audiences, you still got 4 games that most will say is yes, 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 and yes. Fucking awesome. So, I think entirely deserving.
No, I think it's entirely deserving too. I mean, just because, a developer makes one game that you might not like, it's not a reason to not give him an award or not think that he should have an award. I think Todd Howard's a very, very easy choice for that. But that is me saying that with not really knowing many other people in a similar position that's probably deserving of an award too. I just can't think of anyone else.
What's interesting, and I'm reading the article right now, is that there's only 21 members in this Hall of Fame. So
Holy shit.
yeah,
That's pretty exclusive.
Todd's in a pretty exclusive list.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's also made other games that I think people would like. The first two Elder Scrolls games, or actually no, his first foray into Elder Scrolls series was Chapter 2 Daggerfall. I apologize. Project leader and designer on Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, and he began pushing world creation and player modding in 2002's breakthrough hit, which was obviously Morrowind, as I mentioned. He also started off with Terminator Future Shock. Nothing about Wayne Gretzky hockey.
What? Wayne Gretzky hockey, because maybe it was a shit game.
Yeah, I don't know if Terminator was any better, but still, that's awesome. He's had a very decorated career, and it's kind of crazy to think the man's only in like his 40s. Still got a decent way to go.
And he looks like he's in his 30s.
Yeah,
hey,
dude.
Todd.
I literally was looking for a thumbnail picture, and I had to use his face. And I was actually like stunned for a sec. I really was. I was like, how does he do that? I need this man's skin and everything. So when I'm his age, I'm looking fresh as fuck like him. for real, dude. And it's not just the pictures. You know, when I saw him in person, it was like the same shit. I was like, damn, looking good, bro.
Hey, Todd. How's it going?
God, you're beautiful. I think that does it for the news, but we wanted to have a specific discussion on a topic that we think would interest a lot of people, is the direction of the Fallout license. So this kind of sparked when recently Bethesda announced that there was going to be Minecraft skins for Fallout 4. Now, they did this with Skyrim. This is something I actually just recently learned. I remember...
And a map pack too, right?
Yeah. And I remember hearing that about Skyrim, but I just was reminded of it. So it's not like a terrible shock to see that, but also we see Bethesda pinball with like the Fallout Skyrim, Doom tables. We see Bethesda putting the Fallout license, we're going to focus on that here, into a lot of different markets. My thoughts are that, you know, if you like Minecraft, then you've probably heard of Fallout 4 settlement mode and vice versa, where I don't really see the correlation in bringing those two audiences together, where I think with all the marketing focused on the settlement mode, that Minecraft players would have heard of it. You know what I'm saying? Where it just, to me, I just thought it was weird. But my point that I was trying to make on Twitter, but the character limit forces me to go shorthand and try and make my point in 180 something characters. So it's tough at times. But what I was trying to make a point of is that I feel like there's different ways to expand your brand and your license to new gamers without doing what they're doing with Fallout, which is throwing it in a bunch of different games. And I think a good example, I was looking at other titles that have gone mainstream, and I was going to use those as an example, but I'm thinking right now of one that's mainstream under Bethesda's name, and that's Elder Scrolls. And I think they've done a good job spreading that name, because Skyrim was the breakthrough, I think, for a lot of fans, where that was their first Elder Scrolls game. And then ESO reached out to a wider crowd who said, this isn't for me, but I like to play with my friends. Then you have Elder Scrolls Legends, a card game. That's like a strategy audience. You could bring in people to the Elder Scrolls universe through that. And I think that's a smarter way of doing it. I think that there almost becomes this license exhaustion when you see it being thrown into everything under the sun, where I like seeing games expand their universe through their own properties, not putting them into others, because I think that just is almost like a superhero mashup kind of movie, where it's like, this is cool seeing all my favorite superheroes together, but it's, you know, like usually kind of crappy. Aside from Avengers, I think the last one was apparently really good. No, that's Captain America 3. I apologize. But yeah, the point I'm making is that I feel like there's this license exhaustion when you're tossing it all around the place, as opposed to just building in your own universe. Another example that I was going to originally use, and I'll do now, is The Witcher 3. And then you have Gwent, which was a hit, so they made this expansion game for a card-based audience, Gwent, where obviously it's going to bring in Witcher fans, but it's also going to bring in this new audience who likes the strategy card games, who might have started off with Hearthstone and are looking for something new. I like that. Also, another example for those of you out there who play JRPGs, Kingdom Hearts brings in Final Fantasy characters, and we saw him roll the Final Fantasy Sora, the protagonist for Kingdom Hearts. Now he's in a Final Fantasy game. You see those types of mashups work for each other. They don't feel out of place. And I know this is, in the end of the day, people are just going to say, well, Matty, they're just trying to make money. But I'm saying that I think, look at Fallout Shelter, right? That made so much money, and that was just using the Fallout brand. It didn't, it was its own thing. It didn't need to go to another license to bring in all the fans. Fallout 4 is mainstream. It's popular enough to just do its own thing and create new properties within the, actually, I don't know if new properties is the right thing, but new products under the property is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe I think a little bit you're overestimating the power of Fallout, because sometimes what I always need to bear in mind is how much of an audience there is outside our little community and our little hardcore audience. And it's not just, we've obviously seen Minecraft Fallout, but there's Fallout Monopoly. There's so much other shit that, has happened that we probably don't even really know about. And the way I see it is that, of course, there are certain, I guess, mediums where Fallout wouldn't be a good fit, right? If there was a Fallout teach kids how to type game, then I'd understand. Like, well, that's just completely silly, right? Mm-hmm. But for example, focusing on Minecraft, when I was in my Minecraft phase, I used to love Minecraft maps where Fallout was the theme. Those were so much fun to explore and so much fun to play as a Fallout fan. So I see there being audiences that were very similar in my position back in the day. So I thought it was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. For Fallout Pinball, for example, and it wasn't just Fallout, it was Elder Scrolls and Doom, as you said. It's just, I guess, another way to put the Fallout franchise and IP back into the eyes of audiences. And maybe people that, like, I know we might laugh at the fact that there are just people that like to play pinball games, but there are, mm-hmm. right? I mean, there really are people that just like to play pinball games. So having this Fallout, Skyrim, Doom pinball game might bring people to those franchises as well. Like, there are hundreds of millions of gamers that haven't played Fallout, that haven't played Skyrim or Elder Scrolls, and that haven't played Doom. Those games sell well, but how many people that haven't bought those games? There are hundreds of millions of people, of gamers specifically, that haven't bought those games. And I think expanding franchises in this kind of way, whether it's a pinball, Minecraft map, or texture pack, or whatever, Monopoly, how have you? It's not just about getting more money in through easy licensing fees, but it's about, well, if this particular medium, if this particular game, if this particular mashup at least doesn't completely undermine what Fallout or what that game is about, and it just gets the brand and it gets the IP in the eyes of more audiences, then that's only good, in my opinion. That's only, a good level of support for that game.
See, I just view it as them, it's so apparent that, to me at least, and maybe I'm overlooking it, that, or overanalyzing rather, that the Fallout license gets thrown around way more as what seems like a cash grab in comparison to Elder Scrolls. You see a greater,
but they've
care
had
for
the same things. But they've had Elder Scrolls Monopoly. They've had Elder Scrolls Minecraft, and Elder Scrolls was also in pinball as well.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like, it's been thrown around to a similar level.
But I feel like as of lately, and maybe that's because there's no ES hype, so that could be why. But I feel like there's no Fallout hype anymore. There's definitely not. Where the only conversation that seems to be about Fallout nowadays isn't a good one. Like, hey, let's talk about the good of Fallout 4. It's usually like, okay, moving forward, how can Fallout improve? What went wrong with Fallout 4? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, I'm not saying that you said that, but I just don't feel like hype or excitement or anything's playing into it. I feel like it's just based off the brand recognition. I think Elder Scrolls is as recognizable as Fallout. So for me, I think just as of lately, it seems like Fallout's just being tossed around everywhere. Where the other thing I view is that I feel like, and people will disagree with this by all means, it's just that I look at Fallout, you got this 18 plus, really mature game, especially the older ones, like 1, 2. Those are really gritty, dark, just different types of universes. And I'm not acting like I was playing them in the fucking 90s. I was still learning how to fucking wipe my ass at that point. So don't get me wrong there. But I'm just saying that you look at how it started, what it evolved into, and the series is doing great. It's bigger than ever. But now you kind of look at it and you're seeing where it's being placed everywhere, where it's almost lost some of the charm to it. Like, is that just me? Because it's all over the place. Not that I don't want it to. I like seeing the Fallout name because I'm sure, like I've said many times, Bethesda's trying to avoid the whole Fallout 4 issue of not talking about it so much to hype fans up, or to not hype fans up rather. But all it did was hype fans up because they're like, oh, they're quiet for a reason. It's just I feel like there's this exhaustion with Fallout that it's just all over the place.
I'd agree with you if it was like every year they were releasing what tried to be a Fallout console game or PC game. The fact that there are these additional spin-offs, whether it's a pinball or a Minecraft map or whatever, those are things that I can just look at and say, hey, that's cool, or hey, I don't like that, I think that's stupid, and forget about. But when it comes to, a fully fledged console PC game, what Fallout is meant to be, and there was too much of that, then I could agree and say, well, then things are being a bit exhausted. But when it comes to spin-offs and that, if it's just not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. I don't see that as undermining the Fallout brand, because the Fallout brand predominantly comes in the form of the console PC games.
Yeah, but for me, it's like those... That's the thing, is like it's not watering it down in a way, because honestly, Bethesda Pinball is pretty fun, and I'm sure there are Minecraft players out there who like the Fallout like pack or whatever they call it. Map pack, I'm not particularly sure. I mean, I've played a lot of Minecraft, but believe it or not, I played it on the 360 a lot because that's where all my friends were. So I didn't have a PC, like a good PC at the time. So anyway, I don't know. I know I stand in probably the lukewarm area where I think people can see what I'm trying to say here. But also that, like what I'm technically doing is overblowing the current issue. It's just like, what if it keeps trending this way? Bethesda Pinball just came out. Then we got Minecraft Mac Pack. What if we keep seeing Fallout being tossed around? Like, I don't think it would do anything for exposure. Like, if I'm Bethesda, I'd think, okay, instead of selling our license to people and having them work with it, how about we work in-house and try to innovate in our own areas? I'm not suggesting that Bethesda makes their own pinball game. But I think, like, for example, Fallout Shelter was a unique idea. I think it captured the Fallout spirit in a unique way, but yet it was also kind of like an XCOM, and they evolved the system so much where now it's got its own quests and stuff. Fallout Shelter is fucking awesome, to tell you the truth. It's just like, I'd like to see that type of emphasis on creativity with the license in those different areas to bring in new fans, because they can do that. But and Fallout Shelter...
They are trying, though. I mean, like, don't they have 2 or 3 projects happening right now, which could very well be another Fallout Shelter-ish kind of game? Doesn't have to be mobile, but it can be something in-house, right?
Well, no, actually, what's interesting is I watched what interview was it? I forgot whose video it was, but it was an interview with Pete Hines. I want to say it was on Star-Lord's channel. I'm not sure, though, but during that, Pete Hines said, like, word for word, no, before we see Elder Scrolls 6, there are 2 large, bigger than ever Bethesda Game Studios games that you're going to see.
So that aren't Fallout?
No, I'm saying they aren't mobile games, as in they're full-scale games. So, yeah. I mean, it's not news. Like, most people assume that, but still.
I think, though, like what you're saying about bringing something in-house and creating their own Fallout game, whatever form that might be, mobile or otherwise, it's a big risk. And when a pre-established pinball maker like Zen comes to you and says, hey, we'll do all the hard work, we'll make this Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom pinball table, all you have to do is help market it, and we'll give you a bunch of money for the licensing. Like, I think if any fan were put into that kind of management position, and the mashup wasn't too obscure, again, if it wasn't like a Fallout teach your kids how to type game or something really, really offbeat, then I think most people would say, yeah, why wouldn't we? I mean, that's an easy win. Right. Yeah. And if anything, it's just more exposure to it.
I totally get that. And the reason I say that is because, recently when I sold socks, that's kind of how the proposition was. Hey, we'll make the socks. We'll ship the socks. Yeah. We just want your permission. And, I was just like, well, of course, the socks look great. I would like a pair myself. And I'm sure there are viewers who would. So like I said, I get what Bethesda's doing. They're making their money. They're doing the right thing from a business sense. I'm not saying they're really treating the license like shit. I'm just saying if it keeps trending this way is what I'm trying to get at in this long-winded discussion, is that I feel like if it keeps going this way, that, you know, for example, the Elder Scrolls Pinball was so fucking off and weird, if I'm quite honest, that it just, I don't think it did that license justice. And it's a pinball game, so who gives a fuck, right? I'm just saying, though, that I think Fallout was a little strange in the pinball game, too. It didn't feel unique to the universe. It just felt like pinball with a Fallout skin, which I expected. I'm just saying, though, that you could argue that's carelessness with the license, and then let's say that carelessness carries into others. I'm saying that I'd rather, personally as a fan, see that spin-off. It's really no skin off my nose. I can completely ignore Bethesda pinball and Minecraft and stuff and keep living my life.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'd rather just see that spin-off. You know, just if you're going to start handing out the license, why don't you hand it out for something that fans really do want? Yeah, the pinball is cool. Yeah, the Fallout Shelter is cool, even though that was in-house. But yeah, all this stuff is awesome to see. Why don't we do something with the license that you know your fans really are going to be like, okay, cool.
That's the thing. They might very well have been doing that. The fact that they've been a bit easier with giving their the Fallout franchise license to Zen and giving it to Mojang, doesn't that in of itself indicate that they might very well give it to maybe not Obsidian, but another developer to do Fallout New Orleans or whatever the next spin out off might be? I mean, they're not, at least, you know, if there is a silver lining, this indicates that Bethesda aren't so protective of Fallout that they won't let anyone else work on it. So I see this as a way of saying, well, maybe they have already licensed the Fallout franchise to someone else because they've done it with all these other things that aren't even, like, you know, that don't technically fit with Fallout, like pinball or Minecraft. Why wouldn't they do that with the main franchise? I see it as they're probably doing it, honestly.
Yeah. I guess it's just, you know, that's speculation. Pardon me. Versus what?
No, that's definitely speculation.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I agree. I feel like okay. Fallout 4 made too much money to just drop the license and not do anything with it. That's the thing. It's just a matter of when. So I agree that they're going to do something. It's just that based off what we know right now, what we're seeing right now, is kind of what I'm going off of. But yeah, like I totally admit that what I'm discussing is kind of an overblowment of a. That's not even a fucking word. I'm totally overblowing the issue. You know, I'm not.
But there is a limit, Matt. Like, you're right, though. Like, eventually, like games that I mentioned, like, there is a limit where if they kept doing this every other week, then I'm like, all right, well, okay, we're seeing enough of it. But I'm not saying it is too frequent. I mean, Minecraft was recently, as was pinball, but before that, what else did we really have? Like, we had Fallout Shelter before Fallout 4. Like, I don't see the situation as dire yet. It can get there. There could be something that's so obscure and offbeat that I think, well, that's just dumb. But I haven't seen that yet, to be honest.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a good way of putting it. I guess, you know, just what if you could think, a good example actually would be like how it was during the Fallout 4 hype period, which it makes sense then, where they were putting it like figures, what else did they do? Collectibles, Fallout was everywhere. Fallout Loot Crate, Fallout Pop.
It's still everywhere. Like, they're still releasing bloody new stuff. I mean, and it's not just with Fallout. I mean, I was in EB Games the other day, and man, they not just have like the fucking pop toys, but there are also like the mini ones too that comes in the boxes that are random.
Oh yeah, and I got one on my desk. Yeah.
And now they're selling the dog meat plushie that only came with one of the special editions of Fallout 4. They're selling that separately now too, with the goggles and shit and the scarf.
Oh, I have that.
Like, yeah, you probably have it, but now they're selling that separately.
Came with the Loot Crate.
You know, I even saw, those big fucking Vault Boy thumbs up things that they have, like, usually in the offices or whatever. When I first purchased Fallout 4, I bought a colored version of that, like a little miniature one. It's next to me right now. But they're now also selling that in black and white. Who the fuck knows why? But they're doing it.
This is kind of different. All right, we'll do this.
It's literally just like a black and white version of the yellow and blue one that we usually get. So, like, the merchandising is crazy. And I saw Fallout Monopoly yesterday. It's just like, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, Fallout's a popular franchise, and it's just bringing in money that helps other games and other development. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that this leads to a spin-off or a new Fallout game. Yeah,
Me too. I've said that we need it. We definitely need it. We're not waiting.
I just want to move on from the discussion of Fallout 4. That's what I'm not saying this from a YouTube standpoint. I'm just saying from like, I feel like if I'm Bethesda, I want to get not in a rush it kind of way, but I want to get a Fallout game out there as soon as fucking possible to be like, okay, we listened. Shh, be quiet. Enough. We get it. Something along those lines.
Love Fallout again.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that'll wrap up all we have to say on the Bethesda news roundup. How about what we're playing? Our favorite gaming news bit. You want to go first?
I would love to go first. So I've been just doing my regular Let's playing Fallout 3 and Assassin's Creed 1. So yeah, I did want to touch on Assassin's Creed 1. And were we talking about this at the start or before we started? I think it was at the start. But again, I love Assassin's Creed 1. All right, it's not the best Assassin's Creed by any means. It was very average. It gets so repetitive at times, but I don't know, like there's this sense of nostalgia for me. Mm-hmm. And there are certain points in the game where, again, particularly when you're killing the targets and the stories play, like there's some fucked up shit that goes on. Another example, you mentioned the one in the souk where the guy's getting stabbed, but the other one where it's kind of like I love bringing up BioShock in weird instances, but it's kind of like what's his name, Dr. Steinman in BioShock 1, where there's this doctor that is taking care, quote unquote, of people in this hospital, and really he's just like making them fucked up, right, and experimenting on them and breaking their legs and all this shit. Like that game gets really, really dark at times, and it's just so undermined by all the other aspects of how repetitive it gets, of how kind of similar every single location looks. Mm-hmm. And that's just leading to how they absolutely nailed it with Assassin's Creed 2. I think you could have asked for no better sequel.
Yeah.
Than Assassin's Creed 2, especially when you compare to how mediocre the original Assassin's Creed 1 was. And I remember I mentioned this in a past podcast. Honestly, is like the first Assassin's Creed is being treated like a long lost son that doesn't exist anymore. Honestly, you don't hear about it anymore. It's so sad, but I see why, because it's not that great.
It's amazing though when you think of how popular Assassin's Creed is. I mean, a movie's coming out in a couple of days as we record this.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm actually going to see it. I'm actually, I said it when in the what we call the Lost podcast. I pledged that I wouldn't see it, but I said, you know what? I want to see this. I want to see this hot garbage. And
it's not gonna be.
I've heard good things from early screenings, so I'm a little more optimistic about it.
I've heard good things, and like they're even saying that, you know how they have this cool new Animus in the movie? Mm-hmm. They're even saying they're going to bring that to the games, and I think that's awesome because that Animus shits on the one in the games.
Yeah.
I don't see how people think that is not better. It is so much cooler. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Yeah, but
anyways, continue.
Yeah, what I was saying is that you see how popular it is now. You got movies, spin-offs. It was an annualized franchise, one of the most popular. Very much loved, and it started off as pretty bad, Hey.
Oh, it started off, yeah, no, I agree. And if you tried to get all the achievements in that game too, it was just collect one or 100 flags in the downtown district of Jerusalem, and like,
yeah, it was
holy
so simple.
Fuck.
It was just collectathon, right?
It was, and there was like, do all these viewpoints and all that stuff. It was just, you know what, kill 50 Templars. I hated it.
But in the combat is so easy. Wait till someone strikes. I'd always just fight people in that game though, because the counters where you just smoothly just deflect their sword to the side and just let them ride into yours. It was so satisfying, man. I remember I used to have a picture on my phone of Assassin's Creed 4. I literally had probably like 40 dead guards around me because all I did was just stand there and counter until they stopped attacking me, and just so many dead bodies. It was beautiful.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
love it.
Favorite news?
And favorite news bit. I want to say it again, and you probably talked about it in the last podcast, but I am so excited for the Nintendo Switch, and here's why. Right? Here's why. First of all, I see myself being able to play this every day because I spend about an hour on a train every day, right? That's an hour of game time, not looking at my phone, but just fucking playing games on the Switch. So there's an hour. And before bed, I'm always watching videos on my phone, on YouTube. Mm-hmm. That's probably going to be swapped with the Nintendo Switch. So I see at least, times that I was never really able to play games that I liked. Like, I don't really like mobile games. Times where I now, or when it comes out of eventually in March, that I'd start to be able to play Nintendo Switch and I'll be able to play games. Effectively, I'm seeing the Switch as being able to create an hour and a half more gaming in each of my days. Like out of nothing, because you can play it on the go and you can play it in your bed. It's just, I'm so excited for it. I legitimately am. And apparently they're bringing back all the Virtual Console for the GameCube.
Yep,
and
talked about
obviously
that.
every other game that's on the Virtual Console, like Wind Waker on the GameCube. I'm so excited to replay that. Like, honestly, I'm going to be playing this so much. And the thing is, it's not going to take away from any of my other gaming because I'm playing it on the go when I would never game anyways. That's why I'm excited about this. I'm legit hyped.
Gaming on the go, huh?
Yes. I'm on a train for an hour every day, sometimes more. And if I could just bring out a Switch and start playing Breath of the Wild, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, I totally get you, bro. I mean, for me, when I just want to play on the go, I have this really cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You know what it's called?
Yeah. Go on, say it. I know you want to say it, bro. It's dead, but just go on. Get out of there. Say it.
Someone said it was like its 5th birthday, and I think it was Shinobi. He quoted it and said Happy Memorial Day. I was just like, fuck.
Look, there's probably still some weird Japanese titles coming out for it every fucking week.
Yeah, there are. Trust me, there are.
I knew it. Oh, good old PS Vita.
No, what you were saying right there, you and Noah used to shit on me for handheld gaming, and you're saying, I don't take a train every day and all that stuff. But, like, yeah, I could totally vibe out with I'm laying in bed, I usually watch TV or go on my phone. Now I can substitute that with gaming. Like, I do that with my 3DS or my Vita. I'm like, yo, guys, like, this is what I've been talking about. You finally get it.
I never bash on handheld gaming. I bash on the PS Vita because it doesn't have the games that I like to play. Like, whether
I'll
people
be honest,
criticize me,
is that not to cut you off, but the Switch is gonna be what the Vita tried to be. That's the sad part. So I'm gonna have to love this and probably trash my Vita.
I'm hoping that it is, because the only reason why I never really got to get into the Vita after owning a PSP, and I never really get into mobile gaming, is because the games that I like to play, the AAA blockbuster games, aren't really available on those handheld consoles. And it seems like that they will be available for the Nintendo Switch. And I absolutely love Nintendo games, and I just haven't gotten into them because the Wii U for a while was just not supported. And I didn't want to spend however much money to play a console that didn't really have many games. But now, with the Nintendo Switch, man, I cannot wait to play these,
What I
games.
really hope Nintendo does for a launch plan is, on top of whatever launch titles they have for the Nintendo Switch, I hope that they give a lot of games on the Wii U a second life. I'm talking like Bayonetta 2. That was
apparently they are though, Matty. Like, apparently a lot of the games that are available on the Wii U are just being moved to the Switch.
Yeah, that's smart, because the Switch they know is going to sell more if they do it right. And so there's some really good ones on the Wii U. They're like you said, they're so few and far between. It's not common enough to justify like a day one purchase. Like, I feel bad for anyone who bought Wii U on day one. I'm sorry. You could have done so much with that money.
And this is just a rumor, right? But apparently Breath of the Wild isn't coming to the Wii U anymore. And I would feel so bad for people that have a Wii U, or maybe and to be honest though, if you purchase a Wii U now without Breath of the Wild and you just purchased it for Breath of the Wild, that's a little bit silly because it's not even out yet. So what are you doing with an empty console for however many months? But don't buy a Wii U now.
I mean, you got to think of the people who already owned one. I mean, it's a very small margin of gamers, but they already own one, and then they can't afford the Switch, which suck. Really,
definitely it does suck. But this is what I mean, though, right? If you only have enough money to buy one console, like, obviously, like, not talking about the people that already purchased a Wii U, feel shitty for them, trust me. But now, don't purchase a Wii U. Yeah. Wait for the Switch. It's coming out in March.
If Nintendo's
that's in 4 months.
If Nintendo's smart, they jump ship on the Wii U entirely. Like, take the Star Fox game. I don't know if that came out yet, but take that off the Wii U. Like, halt development on any Wii U games and literally put them on the Switch. That's
I'm pretty sure that they've done. Like, even Ukulele, the game that was being kickstarted, right?
That's coming out soon. That's in April, I think.
But it's not coming on the Wii U anymore. It's moving to the Switch.
Yeah, so that's probably a trend of how things are going to go. Yeah. That's good, though, because I think when the Wii U launched, I was watching a video on it, and they said, like, 12 partners they had, and so the Switch has, like, 50 something. So that's
Hope so.
That's awesome.
But like partners, like
Like
we're really excited, and then they don't support it.
Like remember when they said, like, when they announced the Switch with the trailer, and they said, like, here's a list of the people who are going to be working with us on the Nintendo Switch, and like Bethesda was there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm excited partially because of Bethesda, because Todd Howard seems like fucking hyped up on this system, man. He's like, yo,
Hope so.
He was like, man, this is going to be awesome. I really love the idea of it. I just get this feeling Todd's going to like develop an NCAA game on the side for it. He's talked so much about how he wants a new one. He's begged EA multiple times. I just see him being like, all right, guys, let's make this like $20 arcade NCAA title. Just something so obscure.
Yeah.
Could you see that? That would be fucking nuts.
I could see that. Do you know what I see legitimately coming to the Switch straight away is Fallout Shelter. Straight away.
Fallout Shelter. I don't know about Fallout 4, but Skyrim Special Edition.
I think no, like they literally advertised Skyrim. Like that game has to.
That has to, yeah. When they said like we're not sure if it's going to, I'm like, are you fucking kidding?
No. Like, you know why they said that? It's because like they want to talk about all the games at once. Nintendo wants to control the marketing. Yada yada yada. It's coming. I guarantee you, it's coming.
Oh god, it better, dude. It better.
It's coming.
That's one of the reasons I'm buying a fucking Nintendo Switch, dude. Playing Bethesda Game Studio games, like those big of titles on the go. That's the dream, bro.
But this is the thing. This is the fucking thing. You can only play Nintendo games on a Nintendo console, and Virtual Console brings them all back. And now including GameCube games like fucking Twilight Princess. Fuck yeah. Let's do it.
Twilight Princess, that was Wii. No.
Was that Wii? No,
Twilight.
I think it was GameCube too, wasn't it? Twilight Princess.
Actually, yeah, I think you're right. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Oh no, Wii U, and GameCube. Well, it's because of Virtual Console, but I think it first came out for the GameCube. So, anyways,
regardless,
whatever.
That game was great.
Yeah, I know, and I need to play it. I fucking need to play it.
Yeah, that's
so. Anyways, that's my news.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, dude, it's kind of cool how they announced it. It's coming out soon.
It's coming out so soon. Yeah. I'm midnight launch.
How much do you think it's going to be?
Pre-ordering. Okay, well,
I'm gonna go with 400.
No, I think it's going to be cheaper than that. Ooh. Right now, what's the PlayStation 4 in the US? The base one, not the
I'm
Pro.
trying to think because there's so many fucking versions now. There's like the Pro, so PS4. I think there's a Slim. I don't fucking know.
So right now, it retailed. Okay, well, the Xbox One in the US retailed for $499. Then they dropped that to $400 when they removed the Kinect. I think it's $300 now in the US.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah, because Noah's looking to buy one, and I think it's $300.
Why is he buying one now when the Scorpio is coming out?
Because he's so late on everything, dude. He just started playing the fucking Witcher. He started playing The Witcher 3. Noah is late on so much shit now. He used to be the guy in high school. He was on top of every fucking launch. Dude, FIFA Street. God. He was on top of that even. And now there's a shadow of him for his former self.
Well, look, all right. The Xbox One S, for example. In Australia, Xbox One S is $399. Okay, all right. So, yeah. I see this Nintendo Switch, and that's Australian, mind you. So that's probably $300 US. I see the Switch being $399 Australian or $450 Australian. So either $300 US or $350 US.
Okay.
That's my guess. I don't think that they're going to outprice the Xbox One or PS4. And here's why. And here's a lesson in economics, all right? Because this is really shitting me. You know how you hear a lot of people that said it happened with the Amiibo and it happened with the Mini NES that, well, what they're doing, they're intentionally restricting supply so that demand of the console goes up, blah, blah, blah. You hear those arguments that happen all the time? All right? That is not how economics works, all right? Supply and demand, people, for fuck's sake. Listen, the level of a product demanded is affected by its price, okay? What Nintendo is doing is actually underpricing Amiibos. They're underpricing the Mini NES. Why? Because the price that people are willing to buy it is actually above $99. That's why eBay is selling Mini NESs for fucking $400, $500. People actually want to spend more on these consoles. So Nintendo is technically underpricing. The point at which supply and demand hits this price equilibrium, that's what they're selling it at. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I learned that type of stuff in microeconomics. Now I understand. I just don't like when they I talked about this before, but when they intentionally sold out on the mini NES, and then they hiked the price on Walmart to $300. Like, come on.
That's not Nintendo. That's Walmart though.
Ah!
Nintendo, like, no. I'm pretty sure, and I don't know the laws in the US.
I think Nintendo has to have a say.
I don't know what the laws in the US.
I think all prices will be different based off whatever business. I'm just imagining so.
No, I think there are laws in place, and I'm going to say it's in the case in the US as well, where Nintendo, for example, can't say to Walmart, you must sell it at this price. They can give a recommended retail price, but it's really up to the retailer. And that's why at Walmart, and that's why Kogan in Australia, for example, can sell the mini NES for $250 or more online, because Nintendo can't control that. They can give a recommended retail price, but that's it.
That's interesting. That's really strange, to tell you the truth. You think that they'd have control over a product like that.
But they can't. They can't, because then that's going to make everyone sell at the same price, which means that they can price higher, and that means that the consumer is worse off. When there's competition in pricing, when a retailer can sell a product lower than the recommended retail price, which is like what is happening in Australia. I'll tell you what's happening in Australia now with games, for example. You have EB Games, right, which is always selling games at around recommended retail price at the highest price. But there are JB Hi-Fi stores, and there are Big W stores, and there are Target stores that are always selling games at around $50 to $60, $70 maybe for new games that are coming out. And that's because the publisher can't control the price of the game. So they can sell games for lower than the RRP, make a lower margin, but they're selling
ladies
more.
And gentlemen, he's talking about in Australia. So $60
in Australia,
$60 is the base price here, but that's cheaper in Australia.
So it would be like, put it this way, it would be like if GameStop was selling your games for $60 at full retail, and other retailers were selling them at $40 to $50 brand new, like at the time of release. That's what's happening in Australia, because the publisher can't control the price a retailer sells a game at, or a product. So
what about sales then? Because I thought for example, the Steam sale, they can't just say, okay, we're going to put this on sale. Because then you're deciding how they're making less money, correct?
So, and that's an interesting one, because I don't know how the laws differ to online stores, but I don't. Yeah, that is a good point. But I do know in Australia that you at least can't say to a retailer, you must sell it at this price. I'm 100% or 99% sure that that's the fucking law.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure someone will mention it in the comments, but regardless, as for me, what I've been playing, this is honestly a game that just came out on the Xbox preview program, if you want to even call it that. It's called Gigantic. Have you heard of this game?
No, I have not.
Okay. Now, I'm usually one for obscure random titles, but I'm really, really surprised that no one has talked about this game. I saw someone live streaming it, and I was like, this game looks fucking fun, dude. So what it is it's a MOBA. Now, I'm not crazy on MOBAs. I liked Battleborn a lot. I liked Smite a lot. I hate League of Legends, to tell you the truth, guys, and I hate Dota. So clearly I like a certain style of MOBA, which is the third-person action type of ones, which focus on more speed and gameplay than the, I don't want to say strategy, but I think the entry barrier is a little bit lower for those types of MOBAs compared to, and Battleborn's not a third-person one, so I don't know why I coupled it in there, but I think the entry barrier is lower for those MOBAs compared to a League of Legends or a Dota 2. And so Gigantic is so different from other MOBAs. Paragon's another one I've played. Gigantic is much quicker matches compared to Paragon, which matches can go on for up to an hour. I've sat there for over an hour during a match. It's insane. Gigantic has this just really quick pace. It emphasizes sprinting, playing a little bit more aggressive than usual. Obviously, you can't go 1-on-2. You need teammates' help. Fantastic heroes, really diversified cast, where you'll have Beckett with twin guns, but you'll have a jetpack too. She's almost like Jango Fett in a way. It's really cool. Or, there's 16 heroes, 4 coming out later on. It's just a really awesome and different MOBA. Instead of being about, I don't know if you've played MOBAs alone, but how there's usually lanes and towers? Instead, you're summoning creatures, and those creatures can either heal the team, help spot enemies, or build walls. Build a wall. And they can not trap the enemy, but block off one of their entryways to make them funnel down a certain path. And so it's those type of dynamic things, and also these, you could argue these creatures serve as the towers, but they're really not. They're not like high damaging things. And what happens is if you kill an enemy, you get 10 power, and if you kill one of the creatures, you get 20. And you want to get to 100 first, because when you get to 100, that's why they call it gigantic, is because then your like guardian beast attacks their gigantic guardian beast, and you have to run into their base and do damage to it and pull out before, you know, their team, like, I don't know, spawns or ganks you or whatever. So it's this really kind of tug of war type of match that's not just about, you know, pacing and going back and forth in the same lane. It's really about teaming up, trying to take down the enemy as quickly as possible so you can get to their summons, take those out so you can build up those points, but also being careful because they can take you out and then go for your summons, of course. And then trying to attack at the right time while the gigantic is down. So it's really unique, and it's only 5 gigabytes. So if you have an Xbox One out there, it's free. It's really well done. It's in alpha, I think, but I haven't experienced any real bugs or anything like that. The game crashed once, and one time when I respawned, I was like floating in midair. But other than that, really, it's been a fantastic game, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's really taken me by surprise. It's the first game to pull me away from like Overwatch and Final Fantasy in a long ass time. So
Overwatch,
yeah.
Damn, Matty.
Yeah, no, dude, I cannot praise Gigantic enough. It is. I got to put more time into it, of course, but right now I'm having a fucking good ass time with it. Seriously,
Interesting.
It's 5 gigabytes. So if you're out there, you're bored one night, you're listening to the podcast, and you're just chilling, then I really recommend you take the time to download it. Let me know what you think, because it's a fantastic game, really. And for those who haven't tried MOBAs, this is a perfect entry point. That's the other thing I should emphasize. It's so good that I do plan on making a video on it down the line, because it's, like I said, it's good for people who have never played MOBAs before. But that's what I'm playing. Favorite news bit,
right.
We just talked about Overwatch. It's a holiday event, man. It's the holiday event.
Yeah, those are cool, I must admit.
Yeah.
But why? Here's the question that I have about Overwatch's holiday event. Why are certain characters like D.Va always snubbed and they never get fucking skins?
Okay, yeah,
why does that happen?
Yeah, that's the problem I have. Is Zarya has the worst fucking skins. D.Va does too, and they're some of my favorite characters to use. They're like in my top 5. Like, I use them both so much, and they have the worst fucking skins. Like, D.Va got a new victory pose, and she's just covered in Christmas lights. Why isn't that just a skin? Just D.Va covered in Christmas lights. Like, that fit her perfectly.
It's so funny because D.Va gets not even a skin, but a victory pose with some Christmas lights, and then look at fucking what's his name, Reaper, with his awesome flaming blue fucking
Reaper just got
skin.
a sick fucking Halloween skin, and he just got another cool one. Like I thought for sure he wasn't gonna get another one, but Zarya gets this stupid ass fucking camo one. It's called Frosted, but it's just like a reskin. That one was so bad. May got a new one. She's got a Christmas outfit.
Roadhog got a really good one.
Roadhog got a good one. I'm surprised that wasn't an epic skin. That was $750. That's not a 3,000. Tracers. Oh god, my garage door. I'm just gonna keep talking. Tracers is on some fucking next level shit. I want her so bad, dude. That's like how I was a Mercy in her witch skin. I need to get Tracers. I got the Nutcracker Zen. I was so happy.
But it doesn't make sense to me, honestly, that certain characters are left out in a holiday event. That doesn't make sense.
Everyone got a little.
I don't know why.
Everyone got a little something though. Like McCree, he got a new skin, but he also got a new emote. Zarya got the best fucking emote. It's literally just her. She keeps opening gifts, and like it's the same gift on the inside, but like she just keeps opening a gift. It's like a gift inside a gift inside a gift, and it just keeps going. Widowmaker got like a new highlight intro because everyone uses fucking Widowmaker. Everyone got like Christmas voice lines, of course. Like everyone got a little something. Most of them were like aesthetic that you could see. Everyone got a just like with the Halloween one, victory poses where they're toasting, which I really liked. The Christmas event is really good compared to the Horde mode for Halloween, which I thought was good, but like it wasn't as replayable. I didn't spend as much time into it after the first day or two, where I really like this snowball fight with May because it doesn't have like any it's got like this really happy music faintly playing on Echo Point, Antarctica, and there's Christmas lights, and like May has all these new lines where she's like, "I'm gonna get you," and it's so innocent, dude. It's honestly great. It puts a smile on my face. And the point for those who haven't played it is that May's obviously an ice-based character, and she just shoots a snowball out of her gun now, and it's a one-shot. And the only way you can refill the snowball is by going to a snow pile and putting snow into your gun. So it's really cool. It's really different, and I like it a lot. It's got a lot of charm to it. And who was it? I think it was Kotaku or PC Gamer. Someone made a fucking article saying how it was terrible. And I was like, "Are you kidding?" Like, I was like, "Are you fucking
brilliant.
joking me?" But yeah, that's what my favorite gaming news is, because I love these Overwatch events. I'm trying to think what the next one's gonna be. It's probably gonna be like, Valentine's Day.
What is the next big event? What about New? No, New Year's is too soon.
No, they coupled in some New Year's stuff. That's why I think they have like toasts, and they have they have a lot of player icons like cheers and New Year's like fireworks and stuff. I'd imagine that next one's probably gonna be like Valentine's Day, and if not Easter for sure.
Yeah, interesting. Okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
Holy shit, dude! We never got viewer questions, dude.
I did. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I've been prepared. Like, as soon as you started, I thought, hey, we hadn't done this. So I sent out a sneaky tweet about an hour ago.
Wow, holy shit. Well, then feel free to go ahead and
to ask some questions. Now, Matty, you want to know who asked the very, very first question? He's not the first one, but it's probably the best one.
Ratchet or Brandon?
Yes, Ratchet.
Yeah,
Ratchet. So at Ratchet570 asks, I'm telling you, man, he always asks good questions, and you know it. Everyone knows it. Yeah. He asks, what's your favorite one-off game that never got a sequel, but you wish it did? I know your answer. I know what mine is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait,
all right, you want to know what mine is?
Mine.
Okay, I want to say, all right, this is mine, and I'm hoping it's yours. Rage.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Wow. Yeah,
my
thought
game
was like
deserves a sequel.
My thought was like a Star Wars Bounty Hunter, because that game was great.
Of course it is.
No, but Rage is a way better answer, honestly. That didn't come to mind. Yeah, dude, Rage is fucking fantastic. That's a game that I noticed after we talked about it a little bit earlier, Danny O'Dwyer's documentary. A lot of people were talking about it and appreciating Rage a little bit more. It seems that a lot of people believe this is a game that's really underrated. So I'm hoping maybe we'll see something from the...
It has a lot of potential. Like, obviously, there's a lot of things that it wrong, and the story ending was fucking dreadful. Yeah. But it has a lot of potential. And the fact that they released a DLC a year after the game was released. Like, I'll tell you what happened, right? So it was my friend and I were in our 100% achieve everything, phase. Yeah. And we did Rage, and we're like, all right, we're good. We'll sell it. I got rid of the game. And a year and a half later, my friend messages me and he's like, you know that we haven't got all the achievements for Rage? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? I checked my achievement list and there's like 5 or 10 that I haven't gotten. I'm like, you son of a bitch. They released a new DLC a year and a half after the game was released with and literally no other major updates until that point. And it was like this one door in the fucking game to a bar or something that was closed off and suddenly it was open.
I remember you saying that.
Oh, man. It was funny, but then I had to buy the game again and complete it. But yeah, that's definitely one game. Do you have another one, or is Rage your answer too?
Yeah, Rage has to be my answer too. Like right when you said that, that clicked with me. I mean, here, I'll fire open my Steam library real quick, just because I know that I'm sure another one will come to mind.
How about... I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, hold on. My Steam library.
Oh, I got one. Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah,
that's a fucking sequel.
Oh my god, dude! I don't even know if you can top that shit.
What a fantastic game that was.
Oh my.
I'm so doing that in my Let's Play list. Thank you for reminding me, Lone. You're welcome.
That's a good idea. All right, this wasn't a one-off, but I'm gonna couple this in as cliffhanger that could have continued into an entry of a game and it never got one. Darkness 2.
Okay.
Have you ever played Darkness 2?
I've never. I've heard of it.
Dude, it's so good. Honestly, I love the Darkness 2. It's a game where you're playing as like a guy from the mob, and it's a really emotional story, and it's just a lot of internal conflict, and it's a really gory gameplay system. And when it ends, it's such a strong ending, and it's like, oh, there could totally be a third one, and there's not. So that's one. A one-off that never got a sequel. What else do we got here?
Because honestly, there's not that many one-off games, and if there are, we don't remember them anymore. Because they were one-off.
Yeah, true. Games. They were one-off. So I'm just scrolling through just to make sure. Oh, here's one, Rogue Warrior.
Yeah, I think that's probably about it.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. Alrighty. So
The Wolf Among Us. They haven't announced a season 2 for that. The Wolf Among Us. That'll be in there for now. Because fuck that.
Okay, fair enough. Whoa.
I can't believe I actually said Star Wars Bounty Hunter without thinking of Star Wars Republic Commando. What the fuck, man?
What are all these random Star Wars games, Matty?
Oh my, dude. Republic Commando is a first-person shooter set in the Star Wars universe. I think was it right before episode? Yeah, it was like during episode 3, before Order 66. And it's just such a great squad-based shooter. A really good story. Ends in a cliffhanger where like one of the members... I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played it, really, though. It just...
Yeah.
It is so good, and they ended in a spot where they were going to continue with Imperial Commando, and they never did. And okay, so yeah, Republic Commando is going to be my answer.
All right, so I have another good question. It's not exactly what he asked, but I'm going to twist it this way anyway. So at BP Herman on Twitter asks, the idea is kind of funny, but create a cast for a Fallout movie. Now, create a cast.
Uncharted, I think.
Yeah. All right. So either you want to create a cast, but I was more interested about what would be the rough plot for a Fallout movie. What plot would do Fallout justice? What do we reckon, Matty?
That would take a lot of thought, because you'd have to think of a plot that creates a compelling character that you didn't create, which Fallout's always been known for.
First of all, East Coast or West Coast? Or both?
I'm going to go West.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go West. Right. I think East looks better in games, but I think West would hit more of the atmosphere in the movie. Some people might think vice versa.
Honestly, like just for the set scenes that this would produce, there needs to be like a West versus East Coast Fallout movie where the NCR battles against the Brotherhood. Maybe for the Battle of Helios 1, mix that in somehow, but there needs to be some sort of major conflict, and the main character or the protagonist is like playing his or her own role, and that's how it plays out, because essentially that's how New Vegas happens. That's how kind of, I guess, to an extent, Fallout 3 happens. You're helping the Brotherhood against the Enclave. That's what I would like to see. I think that would be a good Fallout movie.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of plots, because I take plot really seriously. Like when I've had to do like story writing and stuff like that for class, where I don't think I could just spin one really off the top of my head without it sounding absolutely fucking insane. Really, I couldn't. I'd have to, I had to.
Well, maybe for the next podcast, you can think of something. That can be one of.
It would definitely have to be like, for me, I'd start off with like a baseline of like, okay, it's got to be faction versus faction here. What two factions am I gonna pick? I'd have to pick like one faction that people are familiar with and one that really hasn't been explored all that much. Like, or here's a cool story idea. It could be like a band of Brotherhood outcasts and kind of like unveiling the truth and corruption within the original Brotherhood, because I think
that's a great idea. It's a fantastic idea.
I think Fallout 4 touched on some of like, you know, Brotherhood's not really what you think it is, like the originals did. And I think like a movie
Fallout 3
would be, hey, you know, what happened? Like, let's say we got this band of outcasts. They got kicked out of the Brotherhood. They want to expose the truth and, you know, expand their cause for what they feel the Brotherhood really is, and then it becomes this Brotherhood feud, maybe.
Well,
I think
that was kind of earmarked a little bit in Fallout 3. I mean, albeit it was different, but the Outcast, you know, kind of hated the direction that Elder Alliance was going with the whole let's help people as opposed to let's collect tech.
That upset me so much that 4 didn't really touch on the Outcast at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
That really kind of jarred me up a little bit. But yeah, I think that would be, at least off the top of my head, that would be a good plot movie for a movie.
Yeah,
as for a cast, do you want to try to answer that?
I'm just trying to think who would be like who would you want as the main character?
Main character.
It's a tough one. You know, I'm gonna say it, but people are just saying I'm gonna say because he's Aussie, but Hugh Jackman. I mean, look at him as Old Man Logan, all right, and tell me that he wouldn't be a good Wastelander.
Sure,
tell me.
Sure.
It's brilliant.
For our main protagonist, man, fuck. Honestly, tough. Yeah, that's really hard because I've noticed with a lot of movies lately, you see, I don't want to say new because sometimes I don't know their past work when they're introduced in certain movies, but like, I'll take Rogue One as an example. I don't even know the actress's name yet, but like the woman, the main character, Jen.
Yeah.
Like she was fantastic.
Okay.
But like I've never heard of her before this, where I'd say like, you want to, that's one of those things where you got to cast and like do your research.
All right, I got another thing.
I'm
this is
terrible with this type of stuff.
This is slightly offbeat, all right? But if there was an Elder Scrolls movie, all right, I don't know if you've ever watched the TV show or the Netflix show Vikings, or he was also the main guy in the Warcraft movie. Him, all right, it would make a great Elder Scrolls / Skyrim protagonist for a movie.
I think is his name Sean Bean from Game of Thrones?
No, it's not Sean Bean.
No, I'm saying no. Like that for me. That's who I was thinking of for like an.
He should definitely be
like a king, there? like a jarl in an Elder Scrolls movie.
Travis Fimmel.
Okay.
He, search him up. He does great work in Vikings. He did great work in Warcraft, even though that movie was just okay. I reckon he would be awesome in an Elder Scrolls movie. And he's Aussie too.
Jesus.
I only realized that the other day.
A little bias here.
I only realized that the other day. I swear to God. That's brilliant. Here's a question from @Struner Gaming. How do you feel about the Nintendo Switch having worse graphics over PS4 and Xbox One? Allegedly, anyways.
Doesn't matter. I want the games to be good and for it to be affordable.
Kind of like the 3DS, right?
Yeah, but like the 3DS, you see some games on there and you just go, wow. Like I think, for example, Resident Evil Revelations, that game looks fantastic, and it's on a 3DS. I mean, that was an older 3DS game now. So I think with the Switch, I mean, you're talking to someone who games on their Vita a lot, where graphics on there, I'm saying the graphics on there haven't been that bad, where I think the Nintendo Switch is more powerful than that, and it's going to power console games. So I think I'll be happy with whatever they give me, personally.
And look, and I think I'm similar to you as well. I'm someone that goes back and plays, old games and doesn't think, oh, the graphics suck, I can't pick up this piece of trash. Like, to be honest, with graphics, eventually your eyes adjust. Eventually you adjust to it. Honestly, I don't know if that's the case for most people, but sometimes
I'd say so, because even if it's good or bad, you just adjust to it.
Well, you do. I mean, obviously, if you've been gaming on a high-end PC and you move straight away to a really old, maybe let's say mid-2000s game, and you think, oh, this was a 360 or PlayStation 3 title, this is shit, this looks bad, but eventually you get over it. I think that initial change is a bit impactful, but eventually you think, all right, well, I'm just playing it, and I'm not really focused on the graphics and how good the shadows look and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So, plus it's on a smaller console, so like a smaller screen, and apparently though, the actual Switch port, I guess you'd call it, actually expands it to 1080p and gives it a bit more graphics power. I think that's the case. We don't know that yet, but
here's the thing: is that you don't want to be carrying around a brick if you're taking it with you. So there's got to be sacrifices made where you could look at like an NVIDIA tablet, I think it is, which is a lot thicker, a lot heavier. But this is designed to, like you said, like you're on the train for an hour. And you can just slip it into your bag afterwards. You're not supposed to be lugging around this fucking brick. They want it to be accessible. And so, sacrifices have to be made to achieve the vision they have for it. So I don't think they're going to load the thing up. I never expected them to either. Not only because of that, but also because it's fucking Nintendo. Like, I don't remember the last system they loaded up on. We're like, this is going to set the precedent for graphics and power.
No. Nintendo is a software company. They are not known for their hardware tech prowess at all.
I wouldn't say so.
They were known for being a little bit different, but offbeat. But here's a really good question, all right? Brian MX34 asks, what do video games mean to you? Just a hobby, a passion, etc.? Matty?
I guess it depends what's going on in my life, right? I mean, lately it's just been like, I was actually watching Jackson, not JV 2017 anymore, Level Up Gaming now. Got to get used to that. And
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it
too. Yeah, I watched his video. I'm excited for him. And he he literally read my mind. He just said in the beginning of the video, he's like, I've just been playing games and I've just love it so much. Like I've just put the phone down, turned off the lights, and just really just enjoy playing games. And like that's where I've been at too. It's just like nothing's going bad. Life's good. I've just been really enjoying my video games lately. And what started this, I said this during my review, is that Fallout 4 started this for me. I don't care, how controversial the game is. That is what re-sparked my love for video games. Where I really was in and out of games before that. I was just kind of covering Fallout 4. I was really excited for that. But other than that, there really weren't any other games that were grabbing my interest. I think Fallout 4 killed my interest in other games because I specifically remember saying that many times. But point being is that Fallout 4 like reactivated that spark for gaming, and it's just carried on since. And I love it. So like before that, what I'm saying is that I'd have days where I'd go days and days and days without playing video games. Where now it's like I play them every fucking day, and sometimes I play them for hours on ends. And I've gone on huge marathons, which I haven't done in a while. And I know not everyone can do that, but I'm just saying that for me, I haven't been able to do this in so long, and I'm doing it out of just pure enjoyment, not like this is my job. It's like I just love gaming. So for me, what gaming is more than anything, it's passion. Sure, it turned into my job, but it's definitely passion first and foremost. And I think
I'd agree as well. Yeah, well, like for me, gaming is a passion first and foremost. I mean, I wouldn't be always reading game news. I wouldn't be on a podcast talking about games or be running a gaming orientated YouTube channel if I didn't absolutely love games. I love playing games, and I love streaming and all that. I view YouTube as a hobby for me personally, but gaming is certainly a passion. I've been playing games ever since I can remember, and everyone that's listening to this is probably the exact same. Had so many good memories with it, met so many great people because of it. It's out and out of passion for me. It's not just a hobby.
I completely agree.
Let's maybe one last question. At KillerJoke69 asks, what's your prediction or predictions for 2017 games? And I think he says, for example, which ones are going to be a No Man's Sky and which ones are going to be Uncharted 4. But you can just rattle on about your general predictions for next year and what you think gaming is going to be like.
I touched upon it a lot of it earlier in the podcast that I think there's going to
a lot of it.
That I think there's going to be a lot more of a focus on. Okay, my house is really loud. I think there's going to be a focus on spacing out games more. I don't think there's going to be a lot of cramped launches. In terms of like successes and flops, those are hard to call really far away. Unless it's really like No Man's Sky, which I was excited for, especially closing in on its launch, but I was like not really hyped and believing in that product, if you know what I mean. But I was like, yo, it's going to be the next big thing. I was like,
it was never even on my radar, to be honest. No Man's Sky. Yeah.
So it's really hard to predict those flops. I mean, I think of like looking at next year, I think like, okay, here's a flop I'm predicting right now. Feel free to, when it happens, go ahead, come back to this episode, 88. You can either tell me I'm right or wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'd love to be, but I think Horizon Zero Dawn is going to flop.
Oh, Matty, that's a big call. That looks excellent.
Okay, here's the thing, though. Is the reason I say this is because, number one, Guerrilla Games has not made a good story game before. Number two, they have not made an open world game before, according to my knowledge. I don't believe for a second that you just jump into a new genre after making Killzone and fucking kill it with an open world game. If they do, like I said, I want to be wrong. But when I watch this game, it's just something, dude. Like, you ever get that feeling? It's like, wow, I love what I'm seeing, but hold on. Like, I get the feeling.
Something doesn't seem right.
Yeah, like, I'm getting the feeling when I've watched some of the open world gameplay, it's become more and more structured. Where the original reveal, I was like, holy shit, this looks so open and free. Where I've seen a lot more structure to the world. Not in a, I won't say a bad way, but almost like it's not dynamic and open. It's telling you what to do.
Yeah.
It's not all exploration. That's what's throwing me off. Like I said, I want to be wrong, but that's the flop I'm calling for 2017, is that Horizon Zero Dawn will be like a good game. It'll be like a 7, but it's not going to be like the 9 or 10 that I think a lot of people are expecting from this game.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. And all right, this is one I think is going to be relevant to you. I think however you pronounce it, Shenmue, whatever. I think that's going to be delayed till 2018.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think that For Honor is going to do really well as a multiplayer. I think the single player is going to be average because of the just
Completely agree.
seeing from the all online connection thing, it doesn't seem like people are going to receive it well. But everything about the multiplayer seems really good. But to be honest, next year, what is really coming out next year? There's nothing.
A lot of Injustice 2.
But do you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a lot of mid to high tier games being released, and not I don't know. I remember some years where there were games where it was
what? Dude. All right, what? Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm
okay, but I'm not a Mass Effect fan, so yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say.
Are you a Resident Evil fan?
I used to be. As a kid, I used to play Resident Evil on my PS1. That's right.
Wow,
that takes me
that's
back.
some OG shit right there.
That is some OG shit. That
Prey?
scared the shit out of
Prey?
me. Oh yeah, I am excited. Okay, all right. I will say something about Prey. All right. I think that Prey will be a game that I enjoy because it's very, very Dishonored, System Shock, BioShock-like. And I think it's going to piss off a lot of the people that wanted what the original Prey was.
I was just going to say, I think it's going to be a game that we're going to like. People are going to call us fanboys for it because we haven't played a lot of the original Prey, but it's not going to satisfy older fans. You can tell by the initial response to it. I agree with that.
Yeah. And people are saying, well, what happened to Prey 2? But Prey 2 it went into development hell. You don't want a game that went into dev hell. You didn't want the original Doom either. You want them to reboot and start it fresh. And look what happened with the new Doom this year.
Halo Wars
give it a
2,
chance.
That's looking really sweet. I like Halo Wars. Nier Automata, I really can't wait for that game because I love the first Nier. Nier was fucking... Neo, that's another one. That's kind of like a Souls game. Kingdom Hearts 2.8, really excited for that one. Sniper Elite 4. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of games. I don't really... Scalebound's a flop I'm going to call too. I feel like that game's getting... when was that game first fucking revealed? It feels like it's just been in development for so long, and that gameplay they showcased looked nothing like what I expected. So maybe that falls on me, but...
I'm going to say... I want to say this. I'm going to say that Red Dead Redemption 2... Okay. If it does come out next year, I think that they're going to be doing either the same thing they did with GTA. They're going to have the PC version come out a year later, or it's never going to come. That's going to be my prediction.
Ooh, if it never comes, dude. Oh, God.
Console exclusive title.
Oh, golly. That would not be good.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, man.
And as my last thing, I think that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is going to be the best Legend of Zelda title ever, better than Ocarina of Time.
That wouldn't surprise me. I think that game's already going to be Game of the Year. Not even kidding.
And this is coming from someone that thinks Ocarina of Time is the greatest game of all time. I think that Breath of the Wild will be better.
Yeah,
that's my crazy prediction.
Crazy prediction, huh? We're going to do that too? All right, let me look at 2017.
That's a great video idea. Let me write that down. Crazy predictions for 2017. That's going to be the next Alone Time, Matty.
Crazy prediction for me. I want to say, because one game that's been really catching my eye more and more lately as a fan of the franchise is Resident Evil 7. I'm going to say that's going to be a return to form, and it's going to be on a lot of people's Game of the Year list. I think that's one that not a lot of people are really paying attention to, and it's going to catch a lot of heads when it launches. Because that's what horror games do, I've noticed. Until Dawn. Didn't know a fucking thing about it. It launched. It looked amazing. I played it. It was in my Game of the Year list. I think Resident Evil is going to repeat that. It's going to be more accessible because it's going to be a first-person shooter, but it's going to be dreadful. It's going to be survival horror focused like they always used to be. I'm really excited for 7. So, yeah, that's my prediction is that's going to hit up a lot of Game of the Year lists. And I know that may not sound too far-fetched for people who have been paying attention closely to the game, but with the way Capcom's kind of been, I wouldn't say it's always a sure bet with them. So, yeah, that's going to be my I don't want to say crazy. It's kind of more of a bold pick. But I think my crazy pick is that Horizon's gonna fucking flop. That's my crazy pick.
Fair enough.
For sure.
All right. That's cool. All right, so I think we got to the end.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty.
As you guys can tell, we're trying to stretch out these episodes a little bit longer.
Yes, but next year they will be long. Like we're gonna rejig things.
Yeah, that's the plan. We don't want to go into details now, though, of course. So.
Yeah, we'll let you know. Next year.
Okay. So thank you guys for listening this far. If you have, I know you guys have been tweeting at us a lot saying you've been listening to the whole thing, which is always awesome. Yeah. My favorite is when we get
before we leave though,
we get pictures.
Before we leave, we get pictures. I need to say this before we forget, and it's in my mind. Next weekend's going to be Christmas.
Oh shit.
So, do we wish everyone a happy Christmas or Merry Christmas now? Because we're not going to be here next weekend.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to be because I usually upload like a Christmas special. I don't know about you guys, but.
So should we say?
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, when's this going to be up? When's Sunday? Sunday's the 18th for me. Okay, so yeah, you're listening to this the week before Christmas, but if you're listening to this throughout the week or whatever, I really do hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you guys enjoy the holidays. What's great is this is coming out a week before Christmas, so if you haven't yet, really enjoy that time with your family. It's a very special time of year that can mend any issue amongst each other. So really, if there's any problems going on at home, now's always a really good time to fix them.
I agree. And just honestly, have a good break and start afresh in the new year.
Yeah.
All right. Don't let anything that happened this year take you down.
Yeah. Hit the reset button if you got to, or take what happened this year, learn from it, carry it to the new year, all that good stuff, man. I'm really optimistic.
2016 was a shit year. So it was a shit year.
I don't know. Like it was. Personally, I said this in my video today that I uploaded. It was kind of like a character development year for me. I learned a lot about myself. I said that in 2015 too, but
well, there's differently. I mean, I'm talking about like general world, in terms of world events. It was a pretty shit year. Personally, it was pretty good for me.
Yeah, true. All right. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening this far. We do hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas if you're celebrating out there. Enjoy your family time. Enjoy that sexy Christmas movie that you're watching after this. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode 2 weeks from now.
Alrighty. Peace.
Peace out.